Russian troops are conducting an offensive in the Zaporizhzhia region, establishing a foothold as an alternative to the Pokrovsk direction. For several months, the Russians have been building up their forces and attempting to advance along 4 tactical axes toward Zaporizhzhia. Mykola Malomuzh, general of the Ukrainian Army and head of the Foreign Intelligence Service of Ukraine, spoke about this on the Freedom television channel. According to him, Russian troops are trying to actively work in the direction of Huliaipole, Robotino, and Aleksandrovsk. Considering that we had previously redeployed forces to the Pokrovsk direction, we were forced to maneuver, our positions there were weakened. The enemy tried to exploit this, and we created more disadvantageous positions for them by moving to fortified areas and heights that were operationally important for attacking, Malomuzh said. He noted that the Ukrainian defense forces are now in a more advantageous position. We are now beginning to more effectively destroy the enemy in multiple sectors. The active offensive the Russians declared a week ago is no longer taking place. We are now conducting fire strikes against reserves. It is especially important that we have now begun destroying the railway, which supplies Russian forces with equipment, weapons, and ammunition. The manpower that has been brought in is of limited value because Pokrovsk is drawing off enormous forces, and this is the bulk of the Russian troop concentration, the expert explained. Military observer Denis Popovich said that Russian occupiers are attempting to attack along all sectors of the front to stretch out Ukrainian forces and prevent their increased concentration in the Donetsk region. The enemy is trying to start a fight everywhere. They understand perfectly well that we are limited in reserves. So they're trying to stretch our forces so we can't respond to their advance, he said. In Kupiansk, Kharkiv Oblast, the situation is under the control of the armed forces of Ukraine. As of the last 2 days, about 40 Russian troops remained inside the city. They are being cleared out of Kupiansk and driven out of the city. This is difficult because the enemy is entrenched in the urban area, Popovich said. In the Zaporizhzhia region, one of the occupiers' goals is to encircle the city of Huliaipole. The enemy will try to encircle this settlement. They have a deadline, to capture Huliaipole by the end of the year. That is, they have a specific goal. Unfortunately, over the past few weeks, the enemy has made progress in advancing along this section of the front. They themselves didn't expect such success. There are many reasons for this, including on our side. But I won't dwell on them in detail, the expert noted. However, the Russians do not have the strength to attack Zaporizhzhia specifically. The Russians don't have the strength to make a decisive advance towards Zaporizhzhia. But the danger remains. And we understand that if they manage to capture Huliaipole, the route to Kharkiv will be open, and then the enemy will be able to approach Zaporizhzhia, Denis Popovich concluded. Operators of the 14th Unmanned Systems Forces Regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces carried out a series of strikes on key targets in temporarily occupied Crimea, including the Brom chemical plant and several energy facilities. This was reported by Robert Magyar Brovdi, commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces. The Unmanned Systems Forces birds visited the Brom chemical plant, which operates for the occupiers' military-industrial complex, Brovdi noted. Furthermore, he said, a number of energy facilities in the occupied territories were whitewashed. This specifically concerns the Krasnoperkopsk substation, a key hub in the peninsula's power grid. Brovdi emphasized that the nights of November 22 and 23 were loud. The Unmanned Systems Forces commander also added that gasoline is becoming scarce in the swamps, and gas and oil are highly flammable. The Brom plant is one of the largest industrial enterprises in Crimea and the only producer of bromine-containing chemical compounds in Eastern Europe. It specializes in the production of bromine, bromides, and other industrial chemicals. The plant's products are used in the chemical, pharmaceutical, and rubber industries. Recently, strike drones of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine in the temporarily occupied Crimea destroyed several radar complexes and a Russian ship-based helicopter, according to HUR. Russians in Crimea are in trouble again, the masters of the HUR Special Forces Unit Primary have inflicted another serious blow on the Russian army, the HUR reports. As a result of the operation on the temporarily occupied peninsula, the following Russian targets were destroyed: Ka-27 ship-based multi-purpose helicopter, Lyra, A-10 airfield radar complex, 55 ZH-6U Nebo-U radar, Nebo-SV radar in a dome structure, P-18 Terek radar. Precise strikes on expensive Russian targets and a stunning evasion of a missile from Russia's Pantsir S-1 complex, the intelligence service added. A Ukrainian FP-1 kamikaze drone has detected and shot down a Mi-8 transport helicopter belonging to the Russian aerospace forces in Rostov region during a nighttime UAV raid on Russian territory. Video footage of the attack has been shared by Ukraine's Special Operations Forces. According to a local media report, the drone was most likely originally supposed to strike a different target, but encountered the flying helicopter instead. It should be noted that the drone carries a 50 kg warhead. The consequences of the attack on Mi-8 helicopter has yet to be verified. FP-1 drones have become central in Ukraine's defenses in Russia's war of invasion. The drone can have a range of up to 1,600 kilometers. According to recent reports, Ukraine is now producing around 100 FP-1 units per day. It should be noted that many of Ukraine's attack drones are domestically produced, enabling more autonomous strike capabilities. The Ukrainian army has increased intensity of long-range strikes in Ukraine as well as in Russian territories, striking military and energy infrastructure facilities. Rostov region is among most affected by Ukrainian attacks due to its proximity to Ukraine.